In video games, there are main characters and non-player characters, otherwise known as MCs and NPCs. NPCs are like villagers and merchants that you buy items from. They basically repeat the same dialogue over and over again and are automatons and part of the system that the game designer has created. In real life, we're all MCs. The 20th century Bohemian novelist Franz Kafka famously said, "Everyone is necessarily the hero of their own imagination." Basically, we're all MCs of our own life stories. But somehow we can still feel like NPCs, either because of life circumstances or we don't feel like we're living up to the expectations that society and our peers have for us. It doesn't help that the media also tells you that you should be an MC. It doesn't mean it makes us happy because trying to become that particular brand of MC might not actually fit who you are. Hi, I'm Sheng, and the mission of this channel is to help you figure out who is the real main character. Not the version that someone else tells you that you should be, but the real you in your own life story. And today I'm going to share the two qualities that define all MCs. Let's get to it. The first one is self-awareness, and this is the understanding of our strengths, limitations, and wants and desires. I'm a big fan of personality tests because they do tell me a bit of who I am and how I interact with the world, as well as the people around me. And the most recent one that I took is called, "What is your superpower?" This is what you're able to contribute to the world because you do it better than anyone else in your group. Mine actually came out to be system thinking and complexity buster. And these two are actually really complementary because of the way that I expand out complexity in a system and understand a system, and then distill that complexity down into insights, into digestible bits. And the understanding of the strength allows me to really leverage it in the best way possible, be it at work or in the service of others, or even on this channel, right? And if you've been on this channel for a while, you know that I do a lot of videos about mind mapping, because this is basically how I manage complexity. The other strength that I have is being an introvert. And the awareness of that means that I can actually lean into certain attributes like the ability to listen closely, to small groups or one-on-ones and form deep connections. And through that, able to actually determine what is, the root of a problem or issue, and to actually empathize as well as to solve those problems. And then there are limitations, and I don't call them weaknesses because everybody has a limit to the extent of their capability. As an introvert, my limitation is literally having a limited reservoir for socialization, as well as stimulation. Understanding this limitation for me is critical to remaining an MC in an extroverted world, right? Because the fact is that in America especially, we do live in a world that rewards extroversion or the ability to really stand out in a certain way. So being able to be comfortable being an introvert and put myself in environments and situations in which I can thrive and feel like an MC is actually very critical. And this has also allowed me to really discover over time my wants and desires. That I don't necessarily want what society tells me that I should want or have, and that I'm able to form my own path and views about the world and people, literally through observation. And this is yet another kind of introverted trait of sorts, but I think it's one that pretty much everybody can pick up on, which is sitting back and just observing the people around you, right? And then thinking through, hey, how are they feeling? What is their worldviews like, right? So having this empathy, as well as understanding that, over time, this is what I want and this is what I want to do with my life, has fundamentally changed the way that I view, as well as insulated from the pressures to become a particular brand of MC that society tells me that I should want. And that discovery process does take time, resources, as well as courage. And I say courage because it's not easy to truly discover yourself. We literally, as adults, we sometimes have to peel back many layers of many years of confirmation to what other people have told us that we should be. So, and to go against the grain, to possibly disappoint people, as well as to receive criticism for not going towards a certain expectation, is really difficult emotionally, I think. So that's something that I personally have had to take into account and really be comfortable with, right? And in a way, everything that has been meaningful in my life has been difficult. And just think about it in your life too, right? When was the last time you did something that was meaningful, that wasn't hard, right? That all takes courage, that all takes effort, time, and resources. So, and I think discovering self-awareness is very much meaningful and worthwhile. And it's definitely one of the keys to becoming an MC. The second quality that all MCs have is agency. And in social science, agency is defined as the capacity of individuals to act independently and to make their own free choices. The MC's definition of agency is the belief or mindset that we are in control of our own lives and that we have influence over the world around us. It's the ability to really see the cause and effect of our actions, right? That if I am a main contributor to a group, that I am actually gonna see the results of my actions happen. There is a feedback loop. And hopefully it's positive as well, right? That you're able to get positive reinforcement and feedback from the actions that you take. And that is actually one of the key ways of fostering or cultivating agency. And there are a lot of ways that agency can be taken away. It could either be, let's say, the lack of political freedom, right? Or being poor. The one that I'm most concerned with on this channel is complexity. And sometimes the complexity of life can be so overwhelming that we just don't want to think about it. We either don't have the time, the resources, the abilities to essentially detangle that complexity. And so we just shelve it away. We go back to becoming an NPC and we just do and live as we are told. This could happen at work, for example, if there are so many factors to getting something done that causes you to just take the less innovative approach towards a problem. Or there are so many layers of corporate bureaucracy that you have to navigate that you just say, screw it, I'm just gonna do what I do at this level rather than trying to change an organization or a system. It can also manifest in our personal relationships, let's say with our partners. Maybe there are emotional baggage or pasts or complexities that are so overwhelming sometimes or emotionally charged or costly that we just don't even deal with it. And we just go back into becoming an NPC in our relationships. So for me, systems thinking and mind mapping are tools that help me break down the complexity of life. And the ability to share that is also a way for me to exercise my agency to help others work through their own complexities. This YouTube channel is one example of that. My final word on complexity and agency is, in complexity theory, each member in a system actually has more impact, not less, as the system becomes more complex. This means that as the world becomes more complex, we actually have more influence than we think. So my vision or question really is, what if we can all be MCs in our own life stories? What kind of world will we live in if we were all our true main characters and really truly believe that we can make an impact on the world? I think that would be a really interesting and positive world to be in. Thank you so much for joining me. And if you're interested in learning more or breaking down complexity, I've got a video about mindsets versus skill sets, which is kind of how I've approached my professional growth, as well as another video about how I make life decisions using mind maps. It's going to be here or here or wherever it is. Thank you again, and hopefully I will see you next time. Take care now.